Hey, welcome back, everybody. Time for other shows I look forward to each and every week as we take you into a world that I don't know much about, but my grandsons and sure know a lot about. It's this world of esports. As we join the Valhallan Lake Forest Esports Connection with the guy who understands it all, Vincent Yard.
That would be me.
We were talking about this for a second. You've got a parent with you here again today. Before we launch in, I just don't get a lot of this stuff here. I don't get. We're talking about guys meeting girls through esports and stuff here. We're talking about Little League of esports. We're talking about all sort of kids treat this and are using it just like they would any other Little League program,
Yeah.
right?
No, exactly, Paul. And today I wanted to bring on one of our own parents of our actually two kids that we have in the program.
Not one, but two. And one's a boy and one's a girl. Oh, my goodness.
Yes. And Donna's been with us for, I want to say, a very, very long time
Yeah,
now.
since
it
the
just
beginning,
feels
I
like it.
think, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just minus the summer, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's really great to have you on here. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
it's awesome. It's awesome to be here.
just to start off, like, I guess at the beginning, how did you find us?
So I was Googling because my son was talking about all of his friends had all these really fun activities to do, and he kind of felt like he didn't really have a lot of things to do. And sometimes he doesn't really connect with like typical sports, like structured sporting, and he loved video gaming. And so I kind of just did some Googling and I found you guys, and it was really great to find you guys because I feel like you have the most awesome program compared to some of the other ones that I had kind of seen previously.
Yeah, now your son started with us first, and then a little bit down the line, we introduced a Fortnite trainee class on the same day, actually, and then that was when you had your daughter join us. I mean, you already were involved in the program, which was really cool, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, she's interested and we'd like her to come and do this too.
Yeah, it was really awesome that you guys kind of put together like a non-competitive one because she has like a little bit different of a personality, so it was really nice for her to be able to go and like try everything out before she gets involved in like a more structured competitive gaming environment, you know?
Yeah, no, and the biggest fear I actually had going into that was, oh, who she's gonna play with, you know? I mean, I'm a guy, obviously, and like, so I'm thinking like, oh, maybe she's not gonna like playing with a bunch of other guys or a bunch of other boys. And then all of a sudden we had another girl who was already with the program, and originally she was on the other days, but then all of a sudden she was like, oh, I can't make it those days. Can I come to the Thursday one? So then it kind of just fell into place, and then now they're like best friends every time they come into the place.
I know, it's so cute. They just sit there together, they have the best time, they're laughing, they're playing, and I think there's even like a little bit of an age difference, and it doesn't even really matter. They're just like connecting over the fact that they both love playing, you know, Fortnite.
Yeah, and so that brings me to my next question is like, so you were looking online because your son was bringing up, you know, oh, like I just want to have something for myself that's pretty cool. And don't get me wrong, Valhallan is really cool. I mean, no bias there, obviously. But did you have any like expectations when you saw the program? And like, I mean, obviously you asked us questions about it first, but what was your main expectations for it?
So when I was looking for a program, like I think a lot of the other programs that I was kind of finding when I was even just searching were kind of more like an internet cafe like back in the day. And I know we were talking earlier about how you're a little bit younger and maybe you don't remember like back in the day, but you kind of just like walk in, played the game. And the difference between that and you guys was you had like an actual structured program. You had curriculum. You yourself had experience teaching. Like I think when we first came in, you had just taught like a 20-something day camp with Minecraft with a different curriculum every day. And so that really appealed to me. It wasn't just like a place where I was going to drop them off and it was going to be, you know, a daycare. It was like an actual program with actual lessons.
Yeah, and I know that when you guys started, I mean, it was just like a whole new experience, and he already just took it and ran with it. And then he met, I think, one of his best friends at this point now. And now they can't get enough of each other. Every time they're in there, or they're messaging me saying, hey, coach, can you play with us this different game? And I'm like, oh, I'm grading this thing right now. I'm sorry. But so as you've been with the program now, what has been like one of the biggest takeaways, I guess, that like as you continue to go through that, like your son and your daughter has kind of been able to do while you've been with us?
I mean, I feel like this program has opened up so many different doors for us. Like you said, like Connor, my son, he met his best friend now, and I've gotten really close with both. Because the two of them are also, Enzo and Axel's parents.
Yeah.
I've gotten really close with them, and I think Enzo's mom was even just saying the other day how, Enzo feels like himself
Hmm.
being at esports, and meeting Connor, and like they are truly themselves around each other,
Yeah.
in that environment, and that just really speaks to me, because finding an environment where your child like feels okay to be themselves,
Yeah.
and finds another person who's like a kindred spirit, is just amazing. I've never seen my child thrive like he has since he came to your guys' program.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like that's just a priceless thing that you want in for your children to really enjoy and be a part of something. Like, of course, we have like our team setting where we put them in a competitive league and stuff, but at the end of the day, we also want them to enjoy who they're playing with, or even meet new people they never thought they would ever meet.
yeah, I mean, it's I think gaming in general, when you're just kind of out there, when you're thrown in, and you're not playing in, a more sheltered setting like you are at Valhallan,
Yeah.
like there can be a lot of, bullying and things like that that go on. And so I really appreciate that he gets to come to an environment where, none of that is going on, and that
Yeah.
everybody is working collaboratively together, and you're working on specific skill sets.
Hmm.
And I think that's great, because I think he got used to, an unstructured environment where he was playing by himself, and I think
Hmm.
that can be kind of hard.
No, yeah, exactly. And that's why we go over things like not just about like the like sportsmanship and working together, but also real things like your schooling and your stuff at home, take care of yourself and stuff like that, so that when you come into play that you're ready to go and you don't have to worry about anything else outside of that, because you're at the end of the day you're competing. But a lot of competitors, not only in esports, like in regular sports, if they have all this outside stuff to worry about, then they can't really perform their best because they're being held down by all this other stuff. So what we try to do is in our lessons we talk about, just taking care of homework, taking care of your studying, all that sort of stuff. And I mean, what I've seen so far is just the level of focus has really increased for Connor, and I mean the whole Valorant team in general. This is the point where I should have probably brought up that he plays on the Valorant team with us, and then your daughter Freya plays on the Fortnite like trainee squad. So
Yeah.
but just the level of commitment at the start was like, okay, yeah, we're here to play and compete, but I kind of just want to like goof off a little bit. But now, in a recent event where we went to Las Vegas and competed versus maybe a little more experienced players than us, we're getting there, but they got to see what it was really like. And so when we were there, at least, what was in like what were you seeing through your eyes like for your son?
I mean, like I said, even the difference, because this was the second tournament we did, and I know obviously the first one was a Fortnite solo tournament,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit different than a team, event. But the differences in the like attention from the one even just a few months ago to the one that just happened a couple of weeks ago, I feel like was night and day, like with the attention and the focus and them working together as a team. And I think that you can see that in the teams that have developed, like
Yeah.
them being on that structured team together for now for a really a while.
Yeah.
Like everyone's developed like this intense focus recently, and is working like really hard to get to like the next level.
Yeah. No, and just to kind of wrap that part up, like I really want to say that from the beginning of when they started and like us building the Valorant team, because it was just the two of them at first, and so they were actually being a collaboration team with other Valhallans at first, but then all of a sudden we had like a little bit of a burst, and then we had 6 players on the team, and then so that really gave them the like baseline of like, okay, now we can really work together and focus, because we can look to our left and our right and see our teammate and talk to them either there or outside of Valhallan and work on certain things. And I mean, I think a switch flipped as soon as we got back from that Vegas thing, because this last week I just heard all of them like like a unit. Like they were just talking. They were like, "Oh, put your smoke here, do this here," you know. And then after the game, because there's this website that we use for the training, where it actually pulls up the map, kind of like you're in a film session for football or baseball, and you're
Yeah.
looking at the other plays and stuff. And we're making plays now, and I think it's just, I don't know. I'm very proud of them, I should say.
Oh, I know. I'm really proud. I mean, obviously being in that tournament, it was hard to, see what was going on because they were like on the other side, but
Yeah.
it looked like they were working really hard,
Yes.
and they were against some really, really like top one, in the whole world
Yeah.
players, which is for a 13, 14, 15-year-olds
Yeah.
is hard.
Hmm.
And they performed like I think really well under pressure.
Yeah.
And I think they only did because they had been working together and because you guys had taught them the skill set that they needed to do that.
Yeah, and so like the next part I want to transition towards is like, because we were versus a lot of there were some teams that I think were just like, a band of friends who are really good at the game and they play a lot, but then there were some teams there that were actual universities or colleges that most likely, I think there was only one exception to one of them, but the other ones all had scholarship players on the team.
Yeah,
So
they did.
is that something that you see Connor in the future possibly becoming with that sort of thing?
I'm hoping so. I'm
Yeah.
hoping like, he is showing a lot of interest in design and computers and gaming. And so, I want to definitely try to nurture what he loves because I want him to be able to have that pride in whatever he does and love
Yeah.
his job and, so it doesn't actually really feel like work to him. And
Hmm.
so if he really loves this, I'm all about putting, time, effort, money, whatever it is to get him to
Yeah.
where he needs to be.
No, yeah, exactly. And then just because it did, like you said, so many doors open up just in this genre of like like the business paths and careers. So I mean, I can't really put a finger on what Connor's like super interested in, but I can tell as far as it is right now, he is competing and he's focused on that. And I'm glad that certain things that we've been teaching him have really just stuck with him. And I mean, as for Freya now, I see her because at the beginning, the biggest thing in Fortnite for everyone that's listening is building so that you can defend yourself from other enemies that are in the game. And when Freya started, she was like, I'm never building. I don't want to build ever. And, we went through the lesson a little bit. We had our, originally I was coaching that team, but then we brought on another coach. His name is Coach Kyle. And I mean, I think Freya still likes me a little bit more, but but it's okay.
She
But-
does. She loves you.
yeah, but because she'll come up to my desk during the practices and just be like, "Oh, can you come check this out or come play for me?" Because she's a lot younger than a couple of the other kids that are in that class, and then she just wants Coach Vincent to come in there and act like I'm Freya for a minute and just
Aw.
wipe them all out, and then they all look over and they're like, "That's cheating," But I just think that because Freya's a little bit younger, maybe there isn't so much competitive spirit just yet, but there is she has an enjoyment for the game and she loves playing it with people. And then we have our parents' night outs, which you guys have come to a couple times, and she'll just be like, "Can you play a game with me? Can you do this with me?" Or Connor's like, "Hey, can you play a Valorant game with me?" And I'm like, "Sure, no problem. I'll try and get to you, and I'll try and get to you." But then I hear 3 other kids, "Wait, why are you playing with them, not me?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can only be in one place,
Yeah,
But
you're only one person.
I wish there was 2 of me, but that's why I will just tell you honestly that I'm glad that you guys have been here as long as you guys have, and I'm really grateful for that because number one, Valorant's my favorite game competitively. So no offense to Fortnite or anything, but I just really like the competitiveness that comes with it and what it really means to be a part of a team like that, because it takes focus for that. You can't really just jump into Valorant and say, "Oh, I'm just going to jump in there and then be the best player on the team for one game or something." You got to actually put in the time and focus on it, which means you got to put in the time and focus on your other stuff too. You can't just do all one thing and then everything else falls apart,
Well, I mean, and I think that's one of the biggest changes too that I've seen is because that Connor has ADHD. I think a couple of the other kids on the team have ADHD,
Yeah.
and so focusing sometimes can be a really difficult thing, but I think he has learned more focus by doing something that he likes that he's focusing on. And I
Yeah.
think honestly, it's an incentive for him too. Like I know that I have texted you plenty of times in the past going, oh my gosh, Connor needs to do his homework. Connor needs to do this. And then
Yeah.
you talk to him and then he refocuses on things. And I think that's like really valuable in this program as well, because
Exactly.
you feel like it feels like you guys are a partner. Like you and your dad have been my partner
Mm-hmm.
in moving Connor along, like forward in his life. Like it's not just an esports place. Like
Yeah.
it's you are such a big part of our lives in such a
Mm-hmm.
meaningful way.
Yeah.
Like I really appreciate you guys. Like I just want you to know that. I'm gonna get teary eyed about this right now.
Please. No, I mean, thank you. I mean, I never know how to really respond to stuff like that, just because I just try to be who I wanted to have, I guess, in the past. Because if there was a Valhallan like this when I was younger, I would have begged my dad to be there. But I mean, now that we have the chance to, I can just coach it. I mean, just every kid that comes in there, I'm just so glad to have them be a part of our program, because I see so many different things every day, you know, and every week, you know, maybe they had a bad day at school, or maybe they had a good day at school, or maybe they just stopped playing the game for a week because they had to focus on other things. So then, you know, they're like, oh, I'm not going to be so good today, coach. And I'm like, that's okay. Just as long as you do your best and give it your all, you're fine. And then, you know, maybe sometimes they'll just get flattened. And then I'm like, well, hey, we got next week. And then the next week, you know, as long as you're learning something from it. And then what I really appreciate and like is that, again, like for the Valorant team, is that they really respond to what I'm saying to them. And I mean, you mentioned like lack of focus and stuff like that, but when I speak, or my other coach, Coach Corey, speaks on there, they are listening. They're not just like talking over them and like, oh, like whatever, man, like I don't gotta listen to you, like I'm gonna do my own thing. Like they are like, oh, okay, like they recognize that we may not be like in our primes anymore and stuff like that, but
Oh my gosh, you're so young. What are you talking
no,
about?
I'm talking about in like game experience, and obviously not age, but it's just when it comes to that, I'm glad that us as coaches are able to really push that lesson through for them, so that not only do they take that through the game, but also into real life as well.
Yeah, and I think that
You had a question, Paul?
I am just sitting here awestruck, because everything you're describing is what I grew up with. And when my daughter, we raised our daughter, why we joined Little League, why we joined any kind of sports. Find something they're passionate about, find something they'll stick with and motivate. They'll learn some life lessons, they'll learn teamwork, they'll learn grit and stick-to-itiveness and all those kinds. They'll learn focus, they'll learn how to win, they'll learn how to lose. And maybe this will lead to some, oh, thank you, God, please, can they get a scholarship or find some passion or purpose? And talk to, though, because what amazes me about this is, and I've seen it in my own life, I've probably been guilty of it, get off that darn game. We see it as somehow a black hole that sucks them into it. Get out, do something else. But if that's what they're passionate about, why not use that to teach all those lessons? Why not use that to find some passion and purpose? And maybe that will become their passion and purpose. Maybe not being a pro player, although that can happen, but scholarships. We had Mark Deppie in here from UCI giving scholarships to play, just like they would basketball or football or anything else. Talk about those misconceptions. Did you suffer from any of those fears when your kids said, what was the moment you said, I'm going to embrace this and go with it, rather than so many parents that say, oh my God, I've got to restrict it, I got to stop it, get them off of it, anything but gaming?
Oh, I mean, I struggle. I think that's like a daily struggle, is like finding balance. And
Right.
that's what I really like about this program, is that you guys are like my partner in finding the balance. Like you guys have a structured program. So while they're there, it's balanced. And then you guys are teaching like healthy habits like outside of it. And but yeah, certainly I struggle like as a parent in making sure that they're doing other things, that they're doing outdoor activities, that they're doing their homework, that they're spending time with friends. And I think that this program honestly really helps with that, because you guys are reinforcing it. So they're not just hearing it from me, they're hearing it from you, they're hearing it from your
Yeah.
dad, they're hearing it from the other parents, they're hearing it from the other kids.
Yeah.
Like my son also loves, just got a new e-bike, so he's been really into that and riding that all around. So he's splitting his time now, which I think is good.
So that's why he told me he's been touching grass recently.
Yeah.
That's the mantra, isn't it? That my grandson will say that to me. He's 10, and he'll say, oh, I better go out and touch grass. I'm like, what does that
Yes.
mean?
Yeah, it's such a funny phrase, just because you know, it's like, obviously, yeah, I'll go outside and touch grass. But it actually started as a, I mean, I kind of turned it into a like a positive, more positive thing, and I'm sure a couple kids do the same. But at first, it actually started as like a toxic phrase, where it was like, oh, like you need to go outside and touch grass because you're too good at this game. Like
Right.
you stay
Yeah.
inside too long, you know, and that reinforces that whole thing of like, you know, oh, you probably spend thousands of hours on this game all the time. But no, some of these players, including some of our Valorant players now, including Connor, like they really just, I mean, they don't play like 24 hours a day. You know, they're not on there till 4 a.m. and, you know, drinking Mountain Dews and, you know, all that
Right.
stuff.
That's my
you know?
fear and perception of the whole world of esports here.
Exactly.
I feel like he's actually playing, I want to say less on the whole right now, but when
Yeah.
he does play, it's more meaningful play time. And I do really like, I think that, you know, recently you guys started adding like those optional practices in. And I think that that's really helpful because then it's just a little bit more of the structured time that they're playing. And so it's going further, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And actually for those optional practices that are for the members that are part of the teams, or at least our main teams, they, that's just time for me to really zero in on them and be like, hey, how you doing? You know, how, because there's so much stuff that goes on when we're getting the matches started, and then I got to make sure my lessons pulled up. I got to make sure this coach is coming in today, or, you know, did we pay the electricity bill this month? You know, and just stuff like that. But, you know, just like when it comes down to it, you know, I'm really grateful to be doing this sort of thing.
Talk about my other fear that I hear a lot of. I don't know what they're doing in this game. They're in there for hours, and I don't know who they're playing with, and I don't know what they're saying, and bullying goes on, or oh, we're all afraid of stalkers or other crazy things, or weird people reaching our children or grandchildren to this thing. Yet I find in a structured program, a supervised program, everybody seemed to feel, oh, this is safe. This time online is safe. It's
Yeah.
not just, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Somebody's watching them. Somebody's supervising
No,
them.
exactly. So like we use the app Discord. I'm sure you're very familiar with that by
Yes.
now. But I mean, it's just our own private server on there. So the only ones that are really talking in there are the other kids or are the other coaches that are employed with us. Sometimes my own dad, who's the owner, will listen in sometimes just to make sure things are going good, which I appreciate. But it's all there just so that we are able to supervise, and we have a bunch of calls now just because we have so many teams now that, you know, we just jump in and out every single time.
So the team comes into your server, or you go into
Yeah.
their, because you actually have remote kids too that participate. in
Yes,
this
we
program.
do, and one of them is on the Valorant team, which we got to meet in Las Vegas, which kind
Yeah,
of
so
came like a full
fun.
circle thing for him, which was really cool. But yeah, we have virtual kids that remote in, and then if, you know, sometimes they can't get there, like that 1 week Freya couldn't come.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a little bit of a
Yeah, but we
got
made it
stuck,
work,
But we got it to
yeah.
work, and yeah, but no matter what, it's always just the Valhallan people, and that's it. And then there is like a community part where if they want to maybe try to talk to some of the other Valhallans there, but it's no way are you talking to, you know, some dude in the middle of nowhere who's, you know,
You know
60,
who they
50
are or
years
what their
old. Yeah,
purpose is for being.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, when we have that sort of thing, it really lets the kids and the parents kind of take a sigh of relief and be like, oh, I'm with the team, or they're with the team right now. They're not, you know, just playing with friends and stuff like that, or goofing
I
off.
thought when I went over there the first time, I thought it would be kind of a glorified after-school program, just something to keep kids active. And nothing against those. I know the Boys and Girls Clubs and the Ys and all these things have been using esports now for a number of years. We've had them on shows talking about this. Because if they're going to sit and watch these kids and babysit them for a while, how do you keep them focused and attentive unless you give them, you might as well use something they like to do.
Yeah.
But they kind of just let them loose and say, here, maybe there's some instruction, maybe there's some tournament to it. But I didn't get the fact that they're sort of teaching them
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah, so like when we started, actually, I'll throw myself under the bus here. I was
Good.
I was when we had our lesson plans, a lot of it was showing a lot of videos in there to just show the kids. And then it was like, oh yeah, show this 20-minute video to these kids. And I'm like, after like the second or third one, I could tell that the kids were kind of getting like, okay, I don't want to watch this video anymore. And then so what I started doing was being a little more engaging and sharing my screen. That this is just one of the tools for Discord. It's kind of like a Zoom call where you're able to share your screen on there for them, but they would tap in and then see that I'm I'm demonstrating what that guy just did in the video, or like we're going to be focusing more on this today instead of that today. And and then if it really comes down to it, the cool thing is, because we have a virtual coach, he actually will take that part and stream his screen with the virtual kids, and then for me with the in arena, I'll start going to the board over here and literally be drawing up our plays or what our lesson is, and then sometimes we'll even get up on the table and do a funny dance so that they are a little more engaged, and they're like, why the heck's my coach standing on top of the table? But,
That I got to see.
Well, hopefully you see him have his hair either shaved off or dyed or whatever crazy thing you have on the board now for the
Really?
tokens.
It's a challenge or something?
yeah, so we have a little incentive program for them to be more engaged, where if they're answering questions, we hand out these things called V coins or Valhallan coins, and then they collect enough of those and they redeem them for certain things like free soda, free chips, and then at the very end, for some reason I got possessed for I put shave Coach Vincent's head or dye his hair or both.
Oh,
So.
Wow.
My daughter has been saving up all of her
has.
coins for this,
Yeah.
so she's not too far away, I don't
My
think.
grandson,
No, she's
who's 10, it's hard to get him like any 10-year-old. Will you do some chore? Will you help with the dishes? Will you go out and mow the lawn? Whatever. Really? Do I have to? And if he does, he's dragging it. He's a good kid, but all kids did it. I did it. He doesn't. But I'll tell you what, if I throw that little incentive, we've tried an allowance and everything. Yeah, okay, I get an allowance, big deal. I got money. What am I going to do with money? But you give him, what's the one for Fortnite? V-Bucks?
V-Bucks.
V-Bucks.
Yep.
He will do anything for V-Bucks.
Yeah.
Would you eat a goldfish? Absolutely. Would you, shave your head? In a second. What is so powerful about this? Do you buy other things and coins and other
Yeah, so that is actually one of the rewards too. So it goes like it's 25 V coins or 20 V coins for chips or free snack, and then 50 is like a $1,000 V-Bucks card. Or if you play Valorant, you get the points in that game.
which you can redeem for what? For other
For
powers?
in-game skins, basically.
Skins.
Yeah, so it's a lot of aesthetic or stuff that looks good on your
Emotes,
character.
dances,
Yeah, emotes.
skins, things that make the guns look
Yeah,
cooler.
the kids talking to me
outfits.
about last
Crazy
week.
about this stuff.
Yeah, last week they put out a Rick Roll emote. If you guys know Rick
Oh,
Rolling.
yes.
Yeah, so
Rick Rolling is back.
Yeah,
Apparently.
Yeah,
From
so-
the 80s here. What was the guy? What was that? I can't remember the guy's name now. The song, but then they brought this back and it became like a
Rick
crazy
Astley.
deal.
Yeah.
Rick
Astley. That
Yeah.
was it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and there's so many other songs that you would not believe.
Well,
that
like
the
we were talking
kids
about
know.
earlier, like Whitney
Exactly.
Houston's "I Want to Dance with Somebody" was on, and they, knew it. It's like they're bringing back
Because you
everything
said
now.
your son is also, or is it your son's in band?
He's in band, yeah, and the band teacher was talking about that. How do you kids know this? And they were like, "Oh, it's in video games." So,
Yeah.
Esports, right?
And that's what we try to do also for our tournaments too, is that it's not just like, oh, here's a cash prize for you to come and win. It's like, oh, you'll actually win, maybe some type of mouse or a keyboard, but then also on a lot of the Fortnite, because that's our biggest thing, we'll put like a $50 V-Bucks card out there, and then they're like, oh, do you know what I could buy with that? And I'm like, you're acting like you're going to go put a down payment on a house or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But
Well, what would you say, we're at the end, what would you say to any parent out there that's hesitant to explore esports as a real, what should we say, little league? Just like they're looking at little league soccer and baseball or lacrosse or anything else. Why shouldn't they look, or why should they look at esports in that same
I mean,
outlook?
I think it's another alternative, like it's another avenue to make your child happy, and to, if it's something that they love, something to explore, like it leads to careers, it could lead to scholarships, just like traditional sports
And
can.
structure and
it's
teamwork,
structure,
yeah.
yeah, all
Yeah.
of that. So it provides the same framework. So I personally love it. I've been super happy with my decision. I think the kids are super happy. So yeah, I don't regret it at all. Love you guys to death.
I'm glad.
If they want to learn more about it, Vincent, where do they go?
They go to Valhallan.com, spelled VALHALLAN.com.
And you're over in Lake Forest off of what?
We are over on Lake Forest off of Muirlands Boulevard and Ridge Route Drive.
And there are ways to sort of just check it out or try it without jumping into the team part of it. There's sort of like, you're
Yes,
saying,
there are.
Fortnights or something here.
Yeah, so we have a parents' night out on Saturdays. Sometimes we switch it to Fridays, so you got to go to our Instagram, which is Valhallan Lake Forest. That's
Right.
how it is.
Where it really is, now there it's more babies and drop them off and we'll play
Yes.
with, do the stuff here and then
Yeah.
see if they like it and respond to it and maybe they want to join actually a
Exactly.
team.
And it gives us a chance to talk to you guys and let you know what our program's all about. So.
Pretty cool. All right, Valhallan, it's an amazing world. We've now added another, first there was baseball and basketball and football and soccer, and then all of a sudden we found lacrosse and water polo and all these other things here. Esports is the next frontier, I think, here. And it can lead to scholarships and careers and all the things that still can't believe. It's an amazing world. I look forward to hearing more about it each and every time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So here we go. Another great story, some real life tales of what it's like out on the frontier. The Valhallan Lake Forest Esports Connection. Coming to you from what we'll consider to be, kind of the esports center of the universe. As we here on OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studio here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.